Welcome to Strong, Confident, and Informed, the podcast where we go beyond surface level fitness advice and actually help you understand what's driving your results. I'm Danielle Lemoyne, an online fitness coach who helps women build strength, lose fat, and most importantly, stay consistent without constantly starting over. Today, we're diving into something that I think a lot of people feel but don't fully understand, and that's the connection between movement and energy. Because I hear this all the time. I'm just so tired. I don't have the energy to work out. I feel drained all the time. And I want to start by saying that feeling is real. You're not making it up. But what most people don't realize is that the relationship between movement and energy is not as simple as I need energy to move. A lot of the time, it actually works the opposite way. Movement is what helps create energy. And this is where people tend to get stuck because when your energy is low, your instinct is to do less. Rest more, move less, wait until you feel better. And while rest, yes, absolutely has its place, too little movement can actually keep you stuck in that low energy state. So today, I want to walk you through how movement impacts your energy, why doing nothing often makes it worse, the difference between helpful rest and avoidance, and how to start using movement in a way that actually supports your body instead of draining it. Because this isn't about forcing yourself to do intense workouts when you feel exhausted. It's about understanding how your body works so you can make better decisions with it. Let's start with something really important. Your body is designed to move. Not occasionally, not just when you feel like it, but regularly. And when movement becomes inconsistent or disappears altogether, your body starts to downregulate. Energy drops, circulation slows, your system becomes less responsive. And then when that happens, you feel more tired. So what happens then? You move less, which makes you feel even more tired. And now you're stuck in that cycle. So this is why low energy doesn't always mean you need less movement. Sometimes it means you need the right kind of movement. Now let's talk about what's actually happening inside your body, because this isn't just a mindset thing. There's a physiological component to it as well. When you move your body, you increase blood flow. You increase oxygen delivery, you stimulate your nervous system, you improve your circulation, and you signal to your body that it needs to be alert and responsive. And all of those things contribute to how energized you feel. Even something as simple as going for a walk can help wake up your system, it can improve your mood, even increase your mental clarity, and it reduces that heavy, sluggish feeling. But if your default is to sit, rest, or completely avoid movement, your body doesn't get that signal. And over time, that matters. Now, I want to make a really important distinction here because not all movement creates energy the same way. There is a difference between supportive movement and draining movement. Supportive movement is something that is appropriate for your current energy level. It's aligned with your recovery and something your body can handle. Now, draining movement is something that's too intense or too frequent, something that's poorly timed or layered on top of an already stressed system. And this is where a lot of women tend to get it wrong. They go from the I feel tired to I need to push harder to fix it. So they jump right into those high intensity workouts, or they add more cardio, they try to sweat it out, and they push through that exhaustion. And then sometimes that gives them that temporary boost, but long term, it makes things worse. Because now you're adding more stress to a system that's already depleted. And this is where we need to zoom out. Because your energy is not just influenced by your movement, right? It's influenced by your sleep, your nutrition, stress, recovery hormones, your daily habits, all of these things. So if your baseline is already low, your approach to movement needs to match that. This is where I talk a lot about meeting your body where it's at, because the goal isn't to force energy. The goal is to support it. And sometimes supporting your energy looks a little bit different. It could be going for a walk instead of skipping your movement entirely, right? Doing a shorter workout instead of doing nothing at all. Focusing on mobility instead of that intense session that you had planned. And just moving your body in a way that feels manageable. Because something is always better than nothing. And consistency here matters more than intensity. Now, let's talk about something that comes up a lot. How do I know if I need to rest or if I need to move? This is where awareness becomes really important. If your body is extremely sore, run down, not recovering, is showing signs of burnout, you likely need that rest. But if your energy is low because you've been sitting all day, you haven't moved much, or you're feeling sluggish and mentally drained, that's your cue that movement is often the better choice. And this is where people confuse that fatigue with inactivity. There's a difference between being physically depleted and being understimulated. And understimulation often feels like that low energy. You have that brain fog or that lack of motivation and that sluggishness. And movement is often the best way to shift that. Now, I also want to talk about the mental side of this, because energy is not just physical. When you move your body, you also shift your state. You reduce your stress, you improve your mood, and you create momentum. That matters because a lot of people aren't just physically tired, they're also mentally drained. And movement gives you a way to actually interrupt that. It creates a little bit of a reset. And sometimes that reset is exactly what you need to feel better. Now, I want to bring this back to something practical, because understanding this is one thing, but applying it is another. So instead of asking yourself, do I feel like working out? I want you to start asking on those hard days, when you have that energy drain and you're feeling sluggish, what type of movement would support me right now? That question changes everything, because now you're not stuck in that all or nothing. You now have options. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's shortening your session. Maybe it's, switching it up to mobility instead, or some lighter movement. Or if you know that you're feeling good enough, it's that full workout. But you're making a decision based on your body, not just your mood. And that's a much more effective approach, because over time, those small decisions build your momentum, and your momentum creates energy, not the other way around. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this entire episode. You don't always need to wait until you feel energized to move your body. A lot of the time, movement is what helps you feel energized in the first place. So if you've been feeling stuck in low energy, instead of waiting to feel better, start asking yourself, what's one small way I can move today, and build from there? Because energy is not just something you have, it's something you create. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Come message me on Instagram at DL Fitness Coaching and let me know what stood out to you. And if you're looking for support building a routine that actually supports your energy, your life, and your results, that's exactly what I help women do inside my coaching. You can find more details in the show notes. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.